Is your dog uncomfortable with handling their paws for nail trims? In today's video, we're going to talk about the steps and then all of the smaller broken down incremental steps that you can include in a plan to help your dog feel more relaxed about this behavior. The key is to make it easy enough that your dog can be successful. Gaining fluency in reading your dog's body language correctly is also a really important and key skill to this behavior. Understanding how to correctly interpret what your dog is saying is a key component of realizing when you can move forward and push a little bit more, or when you need to take a few steps back, again, to set everybody up for success. You want to keep sessions short and easy. Repetitions should include mostly easy, a few medium, and every so often one harder or more difficult step. Varying is really important because otherwise your dog is going to say, yes, this is a terrible game. It just keeps getting more difficult and I'm not interested in playing. So for the first step, I'm using my clicker today, and remember, every time I click, I then treat. The clicker is the thing that explains to my dog, hey, that thing that you just did, that's what earns you access to something that you find reinforcing. So the first step is that I'm not even going to start with nails. I'm going to begin with her shoulder. I'm going to touch her shoulder, and if she demonstrates via her observable body language that she feels calm about that, which she did, I marked and treated. The next step is I'm just going to move from her shoulder to her elbow. And again, if she demonstrates that she feels calm about that, then I'm going to mark and reinforce. No movement away, no lip licking, yawning, averting her attention. Everything tells me she was okay with that, so I'm going to continue. The next step is that I'm going to go sort of elbow to paw. Now remember, if you're doing these, you wouldn't do them right in order. You'd vary. Lots of easy shoulder, shoulder, and now I'm going to go to my next harder step, which was elbow to paw. Notice my touch is really light at first. There's no grabbing, there's just a really light, barely there touch. If we saw any indication that she was uncomfortable, which of course can be her pulling her paw back, but it could also be, like I just mentioned, lip licking, yawning, turning her head away, moving her body away, anything like that that would indicate that she's less than comfortable. Here I go doing an easy one. I would take a step back, get a successful win that I can mark and reinforce, and take a break. Okay, so my next step would be some slight duration hanging around near her paw and or some paw pressure. I don't mean a big grab, just slightly more pressure than what I've done so far. So again, I'm going to start with some easy versions. Shoulder to elbow, just shoulder, and here's my new step. Duration, or, note I'm not going to do them both, paw pressure. When we're talking about duration, it's a good idea to use the alphabet. So you could go A, B, C, click treat. Note the next one is not A, B, C, D. Whoops. That was a bad toss. The next one might be A, B. We always want to vary, so we're not always getting harder and harder. A, that's it. My next step is going to actually pick up her paw. Again, as I'm going through this, and this definitely would not all be in one session, but I would go back to my easy versions. Just touch her shoulder. Shoulder to elbow. Little bit of paw touch. Back to a really easy shoulder. And then this one is the one that's new. I'm going to just pick up her paw. Note zero duration as I start that behavior, because we only want to make one thing harder at a time. It's already harder because I've picked up her paw. So I'm not going to make it harder by picking up her paw and holding on to it for a while. Also note, I didn't grip her paw at all. I just very gently lifted it off the ground. Note I'm just picking it up. I'm not grabbing it, and I'm putting it right back down. My next step, might be to pick up the paw and add a little bit of duration or a little bit of pressure. And again, I'm not going to do both of them at the same time. So we'll go back always, do some easier steps, work up to the point that you're on a new step, a harder step with lots of easy steps thrown in. So here's my pickup with a little duration or some pressure. Note that time I grabbed her paw. If again, she demonstrated that she was uncomfortable in any way, I'd back up to much easier steps, take a break, and work back up to that piece. My next step in this situation is that I've got my grinder. I would start by just having my grinder nearby. I might even have my grinder in the other room. I might have it on the floor. My dog can sniff it or investigate it, and I would reinforce for that behavior. When I eventually turn it on, I might turn it on in the kitchen while my dog is in the living room, just so she can get used to hearing the sound, and then ideally I would be pairing that with things that she likes, like treats. So now my next step is that I am going to, again, do lots of easy steps, and then I'm going to pick up her paw and hold the object in my other hand. That step was because I've got the object, my grinder, and her paw at the same time. Our final step, and I'm going to go ahead and use my verbal marker now because I need both hands, is that I would pick up the paw and actually bring the object to touch her paw. Remember, it may take you several sessions. It even could take weeks, sometimes months, depending upon the dog's history, to get to this point. But it's better to take it slow and help the dog to feel comfortable with this skill that you'll want them to feel relaxed about for the rest of their life. Yes. And again, this step is just touching her paw with the grinder. Yes. Thanks for watching. I hope you're well on your way soon to helping your dog feel much more comfortable with paw handling. Yes.